Hi guys, in this video I am going to explain Howling Village movie. At the start of the film, two friends are shown, Akina and Yuma. They were standing outside a telephone booth at 2 a.m. Actually, they come here for exploring a village. They believe there will be a call on the phone booth near the Red Bridge at 2 a.m. and the person who receives the call, the village's path opens for that person. The weird thing is the village doesn't exist on the map about which those things were said. It was said to be a cursed village. That's why many people often come to explore this village's history. The people who explored this village died or got insane. This village became famous because of all this. That's why they come for exploring the village. It is 2 a.m. at night and the telephone rings. Akina answers the phone but doesn't hear anyone's voice. And she was just hearing the voice of the waterfall. The way to the village was also about to be disclosed. Now Akina and Yuma move toward that tunnel, the tunnel that moved towards the village, and they enter the tunnel. Akina's camera was also active and she makes videos there. Moving forward in the tunnel, there was a signboard, and it was written that no Japan rules or laws will apply while moving through this tunnel. Yuma gets scared and asks Akina we should go back from here. But Akina has to explore this village and she doesn't obey her friend. They see many old houses when they enter the village. Now Akina has to go to the washroom and she decides to use one of the old house's washrooms. Yuma was exploring the village when Akina was in the washroom. He sees a cage and hears the dog's voices in it. Yuma goes near and finds a dog skeleton instead of a dog. On another side, Akina comes out of the washroom but realizes someone has locked the door from outside. She was hearing many people shouting from outside. Later, a large number of hands appear in the vicinity of Akina. They were holding Akina and Yuma also sees something outside. Then he runs toward Akina, but she was also frightened. There were some black spirits behind them and they run from there. A girl named Kanea is shown in the next scene and she was a psychologist. A mother brought her kid to Kanea and was telling her about her son, that her son used to be quiet and has nightmares. She says, "I think my son is hiding something from us," and that's the reason for her arrival at Kanea. Kanea talks to the boy and discovers the boy sees a spirit and calls her his mother, and after telling her everything, the boy asks Kanea not to tell anyone about his mother. He says, "My real mother will become angry if she will discover this." The kid leaves after saying this and also waves his hand to someone. Kanea sees and finds a lady's spirit there. On the other side, Akina is shown behaving strangely as a result of the accident's effects. She has become weird. She laughs, sings songs, and also makes weird sketches. Here we discover Kanea was Yuma's sister and he tells his sister about his friend. He asks his sister to help his friend Akina and tells her, "The night when we went to the village, my friend behaving strangely since then." He says, "I think this happened because of the curse of the village." Yuma was talking to Kanea and his younger brother arrives. And he also got a project for that village, so he wants to get more info about that village. Meanwhile, Yuma's father arrives and scolds him while warning him not to involve in those things. He asks him to stay away from all this, and then Kanea goes to meet Yuma's friend. She feels negative vibes after meeting her, and that night Yuma's friend ended own life while jumping from the roof. Her body was diagnosed and according to the report she drowned. This was shocking news for everyone as she jumped in front of everyone from the tower. How's this possible that she died because of being drowned? Yuma realized that this was happening due to the village's curse. Then he takes his friends to the tunnel that opens in that village. But he was taking them there to set that tunnel on fire. Yuma finds the tunnel sealed when he comes with his friends. He becomes surprised that the tunnel wasn't sealed when he came with his friend. Now it is sealed, and how does this happen? Yuma asks his friends to stay there, and he enters the tunnel. During this, Yuma's younger brother also come with them while hiding in his car. His younger brother has brought a recording camera with him, and also hears the dog's voices from the tunnel. He feels that Yuma is calling him for help and moves inside the tunnel, but there were many spirits inside the tunnel. Meanwhile, Yuma's shout is heard and his friends become frightened because of all this. They tell everything to Yuma's family and the police. The police arrive with Yuma's family and they find the camera of Yuma's younger brother, and they understand that something wrong has happened to them. The police were scared of moving inside the tunnel and forbidding everyone to go into the tunnel, but then Yuma's mother tries to move inside the tunnel. She starts behaving strangely when everyone was stopping her. On another side, Kanea receives a call from that kid's mother. The kid whom we saw with Kanea. His mother tells her that her son is sick and admitted to the hospital. Meanwhile, Kanea discovers while reaching the hospital that the doctor who has done an autopsy of Yuma's friend is also not well. He was also admitted to the hospital because of it. Kanea was with the kid at night, but she doesn't find the kid in his bed when she suddenly awakes at night. He was outside that doctor's room who was admitted to the hospital. Then she asks the boy what is he doing there. The boy tells her that his grandfather has called him here, but she couldn't understand anything. There were many spirits around that doctor's bed when Kanea sees inside. They were repeating the same song and saying if the crop is ruined, so end it. Meanwhile, the spirits move toward Kanea and that kid. The doctor who had performed Akina's diagnosis spirit was also approaching them from the front. But then a nurse arrives and everything becomes normal as she arrives. The nurse tells Kanea that the doctor died 2 minutes before, and yes, she was telling about the doctor whose spirit was in front of her. Kanea understands that the kid has a connection with the spirit and the tunnel because the spirits whom Kanea saw were singing the same song Akina sang before dying. Kanea talks to the kid's parents and discovers their kid died that day, and then this kid was born in the hospital as he had none, so we adopted him. Yuma's friend is shown in the next scene whose car gets damaged near the telephone booth. He calls his friends for help, and when they arrive they find his car but their friend was missing. It was 2 a.m. and the phone was also ringing. One of them receives the call but there wasn't any voice. The booth automatically closes when another friend comes to receive the call, and suddenly the water starts filling in the telephone booth. Meanwhile, many spirits appear outside the booth, and they were singing the same song. The scene shifts to Kanea, who was asking her father about this repeatedly, but her father was worried and doesn't tell her anything. Kanea moves to her grandfather to know about all this, and remembers her grandmother, who also can see the spirits. Kanea has got this gift of seeing the spirits from her grandmother. Kanea tells her grandfather about the village, and he says yes, the village exists a few years ago, but there was a dam near the village and the village was destroyed because the dam broke. Kanea remembers her grandmother when she was sitting with her one day, and she saw a boy while sitting with her grandmother from a distance. Surprisingly, she discovers the boy while standing in a distant location. Kanea has seen the vision of this boy in her childhood, and today she was meeting him. The boy is very knowledgeable about the village and has a lot of information about it. He shows her a video and she discovers the people living happily in the village a few years ago. Then one day a few people from the power company came and decided to make a dam around the village. The villagers don't want to let their village destroy and they protest to save their village. The company just wanted to earn its profit and started torturing the villagers, and they let this prove with the help of political powers that the village doesn't exist. Later the board was fixed outside the village, which we saw at the beginning. Japan's any rule or law will not apply moving forward was written on it. It wasn't less than any curse what the people of the company have done to the villagers. They tease the villagers and behave badly toward them. Later the village was destroyed because of the dam breakage. Kanea sees her grandfather in the video and discovers the owner of the company was none other than her grandfather. This was the cause of what happened to Kanea's family. Kanea moves to the telephone booth with the boy and the phone rings again at 2 a.m. She attends the call and hears her younger brother and Yuma's voice. They were calling her for help. And then she enters the village with that boy through the tunnel. They feel they reach the past and Kanea finds the dead bodies of the villagers. She finds her brothers locked in a cage. Then she moves to another cage while releasing her brothers. There was a girl in a poor condition and a newborn baby was also inside. Now the boy with Kanea tells her you have to move far from this village while taking this baby. The village will be drowned soon, and the baby will take the name of the villagers forward when it will be drowned. This baby can end the curse of this village. When Kanea the boy and her brothers were fleeing the village, the baby's mother was following them. The girl has changed into an evil and now was attacking them. Yuma along with the boy stopped that girl, but she was asking Kanea to move far from here with this baby. Kanea carried the baby far with her younger brother, and they both fainted as they reached the end of the tunnel. They haven't that baby. Later Kanea is shown in the hospital with her younger brother. On another side, the baby was taken by a family whom Kanea brought. After it, the doctors tell Kanea they have found Yuma's dead body, and there were 2 skeletons with them. Kanea understands those were the boy and the girl's skeletons, the girl whose baby she has brought with her. Now the question is, why wasn't Kanea cursed when she left that village? The tunnel is revealed to be nothing more than a time loop that opens at 2 a.m. The reason for this is that dam water was thrown in this village at 2 a.m. Kanea was linked to the village curse because she was the only one who could break it. The boy who met Kanea and helped Kanea to show all this, and the girl were her grandmother's parents. They were helping her and the kid went to his old time loop as he came out. People associated with the power plant company are cursed as a result of the village. Water is also present in their deaths. Here this movie concludes.